The sun dipped low over the jagged cliffs of the New Zealand coast, painting the sky in streaks of amber and violet. In a secluded cove, the rhythmic crash of waves carried an unusual sound, a deep, resonant call that seemed to echo through the rocks and sand. Tama, a young Maori apprentice, was the first to hear it while gathering driftwood for a traditional ceremony. Curiosity guided Tama to the shore, where he froze at the sight before him. A massive, sleek form lay motionless on the sand, its skin shimmering like polished slate under the fading light. It was unlike any whale he had seen before. The creature's elongated snout and peculiar teeth gave it an almost otherworldly appearance. Tama's heart raced. "A gift from Tangaroa," he whispered, recalling the stories his grandfather had told him about the sea god's messengers. He sprinted back to the village, his bare feet kicking up sand as he shouted for the elders. Within an hour, the beach buzzed with activity. Elders chanted softly, their voices blending with the ocean's symphony, as they circled the stranded whale. "It's a spade-toothed whale," one of them murmured, reverence etched on his weathered face. This species, almost mythical in its rarity, had only ever been glimpsed in fragmented records. Meanwhile, marine biologists, alerted by a frantic call, arrived with equipment and awe. Among them was Dr. Kira Malone, a marine ecologist known for her passionate advocacy for ocean conservation. As she approached the scene, her breath hitched. "Impossible," she muttered, kneeling beside the creature. "This species, it's like seeing a ghost." Kira ran her hand along the whale's flank, noting the fine scars and patches of algae clinging to its skin. "It's a young male," she concluded, her voice tinged with both wonder and concern. "Why would it come here?" Tama asked, his dark eyes wide with curiosity. "Perhaps it's lost," Kira replied, standing. "Or perhaps it's trying to tell us something." The night deepened as the team set up lights and equipment. The elders continued their chants, a bridge between the ancient and the modern worlds. Kira couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing on the brink of a discovery, not just of a creature, but of something far greater. Unbeknownst to them, the tide was carrying in more than just waves. It carried secrets of a fragile ocean, waiting to be unraveled. The first light of dawn spilled over the cove, illuminating the whale's lifeless form and casting long shadows on the sand. Dr. Kira Malone knelt by its side, her gloved hands tracing the creature's unique features. She marveled at its elongated jaw and the delicate ridges on its sleek body, evidence of an ancient lineage that had evaded human understanding for centuries. Tama watched her intently, his curiosity mingling with reverence. "It looks like the carvings in the sacred cave," he said, his voice hesitant but certain. "What carvings?" Kira asked, turning to him with a spark of interest. Tama nodded toward the cliffs. "There's a cave hidden by the tide. My grandfather told me it holds the stories of our ancestors, etched in stone. Some of them look like this whale." Kira's scientific instincts flared. "Can you show me?" Hours later, after the tide receded, Tama led Kira to the cave's entrance. The air inside was cool and damp, carrying the faint scent of salt and earth. Faint sunlight filtered through cracks, revealing walls covered in intricate carvings. Kira's breath caught as she spotted the familiar silhouette of a spade-toothed whale among the depictions of sea creatures, waves, and celestial patterns. The carvings weren't just art, they were a narrative. The whale was portrayed as a guardian, its presence intertwined with the ocean's rhythms and the people's way of life. "This is incredible," Kira whispered, her voice echoing in the stillness. "These carvings could be thousands of years old. It's as if your ancestors knew about this species long before we did." Tama traced one of the carvings with his fingers, a sense of pride and wonder glowing in his expression. Maybe the whale's stranding wasn't random. Maybe it's a reminder of the bond we've forgotten. Kira nodded, her mind racing. The discovery blurred the lines between science and spirituality, urging her to look beyond data and delve into a deeper connection with the natural world. This whale wasn't just an anomaly. It was a symbol, a bridge between the past and the present, calling humanity to remember its responsibility to the ocean. The makeshift research tent buzzed with the hum of generators and the quiet focus of scientists at work. Kira leaned over the spade-toothed whale, scalpel in hand, as Tama stood by, his expression a mix of awe and trepidation. "Here," Kira murmured, her voice steady as she exposed a peculiar bone structure beneath the whale's muscular tail. "This is unlike anything I've seen before." The bone was elongated, almost paddle-shaped, with grooves that suggested it could detect minute vibrations in the water. "Could it have been a navigator?" Tama asked, recalling tales his grandfather had told. "A guardian of the deep, guiding others through the ocean's currents?" Kira paused, struck by the idea. "It's possible," she replied, noting the finely tuned design of the whale's sensory systems. "This structure might have allowed it to listen to the ocean in ways we can't even imagine." Further examination revealed more surprises, unique glands that seemed to process seawater, perhaps to sense chemical changes, and evidence of a diet that suggested a critical role in balancing marine ecosystems. Tama's gaze flicked between Kira and the whale. The carvings in the cave, they called this whale Kaitiaki Moana, the ocean's protector. Our ancestors believed it brought messages from Tangaroa about the health of the sea. Kira looked at him, her scientific certainty giving way to wonder. Maybe they weren't just stories. This whale might truly have been a sentinel, its survival tied to the ocean's well-being, and ours. As the sun set, the whale's silent form seemed to glow under the amber light, a reminder of the delicate thread connecting all life. Under the sterile glow of lab lights, Kira examined the test results spread across her workstation. Her heart sank. The whale's tissues were riddled with microplastics, and its organs showed traces of toxic pollutants. Each reading painted a grim picture of an ocean under siege. "It didn't strand by accident," Kira said, her voice tight. "Its body was overwhelmed." Tama stood beside her, silent for a moment. Then he said, "This is the message from Tangaroa my people feared. The ocean is crying for help." News of the whale's stranding and Kira's findings quickly spread, sparking global interest. Photos of the majestic creature, paired with shocking details of its polluted state, became a rallying cry for ocean conservation. Protests erupted in major cities, demanding action against industrial pollution and unsustainable fishing practices. But the pushback was fierce. Corporations dismissed the findings as isolated incidents, claiming there was no proof of widespread harm. Kira found herself at the center of heated debates, her credibility attacked by those who prioritized profit over preservation. At a town hall meeting, Tama's Iwi elders spoke passionately about their ancestral connection to the ocean. "This whale is not just a creature," one elder said. "It is a guardian. Its suffering warns us of the damage we inflict not only on the sea, but on ourselves." Moved by their words, Kira doubled down on her research. With Tama's help, she began compiling data that linked corporate practices to the degradation of marine ecosystems. The fight was far from over, but the tide of awareness was rising. In the distance, the waves roared, a reminder of the vast, fragile world they were trying to protect. Beneath a vast New Zealand sky, the ocean shimmered, unbroken and alive. On the cliffs overlooking the cove where the spade-toothed whale had stranded, Kira and Tama stood side by side, gazing at the newly unveiled plaque. It read, "Kaitiaki Moana Marine Sanctuary, established in memory of the ocean's guardian." The sanctuary stretched across miles of pristine waters, protected by international agreements and supported by grassroots efforts. Fishing boats and industrial vessels now steered clear, allowing marine life to flourish undisturbed. As part of the inauguration, Tama's iwi led a powerful ceremony. Chanting ancient prayers, they poured seawater collected from sacred sites into the ocean, symbolizing unity between the people and Tangaroa. Children carried carved wooden replicas of the spade-toothed whale, reminding all present of its role as a guardian. Kira spoke to the gathered crowd. "This whale's story reminds us of our shared responsibility. It suffered because of us, but through its legacy, we can protect what remains. The sanctuary became more than a place. It became a movement. Scientists studied its waters, documenting the slow recovery of coral reefs and fish populations. Tama took on a role as a guide, teaching visitors about the intertwined history of the Maori people and the sea. Years later, Kira returned to the cove, now a thriving haven for wildlife. She spotted a spout on the horizon, a whale perhaps of the same elusive species. A smile broke across her face. Tangaroa's guardian lived on, and so did its message.